What do you call a flashlight and a las gun taped together?
That's not even the joke.
What's the joke then?
No, it's what? Oh, is that actually it?
That's the
No,
joke.
that's it, because I just thought of the punchline and I'm like, that's right.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, sorry. It's the joke. It's the right one.
I don't even want to say the punchline.
What's the punchline now?
Twin linked.
Oh, okay.
Wait, we did it.
No, I was like, the joke is that they're flashlights, and then I was like, wait, but that is the joke.
This joke was too meta for you.
Yeah.
The joke within the joke. Wow. Welcome to Lorehammer.
Welcome to Lorehammer. This is a bonus episode that we are doing for you guys. We are going to be reading some listener lore that has been submitted to us by you.
Oh, and we got some doozies in this one.
People. Joining me, or my name is Eric. This is Mark.
Yo.
And then joining us, we have Jordan.
Hello.
Back from his long sojourn through the United States of America.
Well, this is my second episode back.
That's right.
Yeah. Back from like a week ago.
Dumb bitch.
Or 2 weeks ago.
And then also joining us today is Peter.
Hello.
Maybe the most competent reader of all the people I know.
No.
It's a toss-up between
you should have
you
said
two.
competent person.
Well, no, I know Brant.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
No offense,
that's
Peter,
a toss
but-
up.
No, that's no offense.
None taken.
None taken at all.
Yeah. Oh, Brant.
Actually, he lives in his garage now, so maybe
By choice, though.
that doesn't make it okay.
I don't agree with it, but it is by choice.
Is he literally?
Just yeah.
Wow. What? Okay.
Just in case you
mind.
guys
He's got to stay mobile.
haven't
can't be
listened
locked down.
to our previous episode, Lorehammer is in the process of planning a local tournament.
Yeah, a local tournament, local friendly gaming night type day.
This ain't no GT.
No. This
ain't
will
no-
be for fun.
Yes.
So
We want to have an opportunity of an organized event where people can just come and hang out with us. So if you are interested, go check out our previous bonus episode.
or check us out on Facebook, and we're gonna have more details. Right now, we're just in the process of trying to get
Some
a guess of
numbers.
how many people we can get to come. So yeah, check that out. Definitely send us an email or a message on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, just to let us know you can make it, and we'll talk more about dates and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Let's step right into this. So in the listener lore, we are going to read the stories as they have been submitted to us in like syntax and grammatical errors and all. And then what we will do is we'll go around the table and share what we thought about it, what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it, what was absolute heresy, and whether or not the person should never write again.
We're revoking writing statuses. Perfect.
Is that not what we're doing?
I'm in.
All right, I'm in. So the first one comes to us from Sean, and I think Mark, you're reading that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Veteran Watch Sergeant Malvius Benedict sat comfortably on a rock on the slight rise overlooking the battlefield that spread out before him. It wasn't his real name. His team sat, appearing barely ruffled, spread out before and around him. They were completely surrounded, and the prospect of being evac before the enemy hordes overtook them seemed ever slimmer. VWS Benedict took stock of his team. 5 Marines, chapters hidden and abandoned. 5 different names I'm not going to pronounce. Davian, Marcus,
yeah.
Argus, but Bhon, Pon, I think his name is.
Pawn?
Pon.
Bon. Yeah, I would have said Bon.
Oh, okay.
Or Bahan.
But either way, it's not their real names, he says. They had taken the impossible missions for millennia, and in death they would gain honor, but these were those who failed to die. Defeat in victory, victorious in death. They were true Deathwatch. Benedict's thoughts were suddenly interrupted as one of the greenskins fiends came running. A full minute, the thing ran and then jumped in what he thought was a hole it could take cover in. A few of Benedict's men stifled laughs as the greenskin lay in full view of all of them. Hey, Umis, the boss wants to know if you've ready to fight or is you just gonna dumb sleeper sumo. The thing laughed. Word for word. Benedict understood. The war boss had made his orcs believe that they're waiting on them rather the other way around. You tell your boss the next time he attacks will be the last. Tetra could never keep his mouth shut. The orc laughed again and stood in full view. Good, he gets in for a fun fight. It turned and ran back to where it came. Benedict stood, looked at his marines. Perhaps today these emperor's children could finally find victory. And that's that. In typical fashion, I chose the shortest one.
Yeah, that's fair.
So do they die or not? What do we think? Did they finally find victory in death or death in victory?
It feels a little like incomplete.
Yes.
The story. Like it's more setting the scene.
Yeah, this is an intro. This is a prologue.
Yeah.
Right?
This is just to get you hooked.
Right.
Now you got to buy the book.
I feel like this is you read this and then it goes back to like 5 months earlier when like this campaign starts, and then like you start actually learning about the whole campaign, because it sounds like
I just don't know what like the point of the story is.
I think it's just
maybe he wrote it for like a battle he was about to play.
Yeah,
Maybe,
it's like a narrative
Yeah.
entry. That's exactly what I hear when
Let's
I read
pretend.
this.
Let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
This was the intro of a game he played where it was 5 Marines against unlimited orcs.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would
just
make,
like a
little more
narrative.
sense.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a starting point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Shitty name, so.
What's the deal with the not real names? Is that
don't
is that
know.
normally
that
a
also-
thing?
So
You
Is
feel like
that-
that's supposed to be explained, but then it's just not.
But just is that something that comes up in Warhammer?
in Deathwatch, it can.
Yeah, so
It
they
can.
they do have something called Black Shield. So the Deathwatch are a collection of chapters, but
Right.
sometimes there's like super rare. They're called Black Shields, where they remove all chapter heraldry, and they basically come in as like no name nobodies who are just there to kill stuff, essentially. So maybe they're all Black Shields and they don't have real names and they just decide to be Benedict for some reason. But
No. He's Benedict.
That's
that was not his real name. Yeah.
No, exactly. But they all chose different names.
But he
They-
chose Benedict.
Yes.
I don't know.
But they all chose like first and last names.
Yes, yeah.
Right?
Not,
Like-
not even code names like
No.
the Crusher.
Right.
No,
It's
that's
just
Orcs, sorry.
Marvis Bane,
Marvis.
William Tetcher, Terez Dresd. How do you say DSDT? Yeah.
Got
It's
him.
like a sound effect more than a name.
It's like a drizzt. How do you say drizzt?
Drizzt. There, you did it. Congratulations.
I thought there would be a little more variation between how I said it and you said it, but no, we got to the same place.
Chasm.
No.
Chasm.
Don't you dare bring that up.
Cool.
Yeah. I want more.
I don't want more because it's Space Marines, but
You know what?
There's-
I really like how he wrote the orcs. Like, it takes a lot of effort for me to write how I think orcs talk.
the way he spelled you is YU apostrophe S apostrophe D used.
Yeah, it sounds orky.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah,
Next story.
yeah.
There was 10 sentences. There's only so much we can say.
It's very short.
Okay. Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean,
All
for your
right.
submission.
Should we go to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. This one's from Geoffrey.
Geoffrey.
No. This is a real name. We can't make fun of it.
sorry.
Geoffrey. Okay.
The incestuous.
La
son
la
of-
la la la. Okay.
No,
The incestuous.
right, of Cersei and Jaime Lannister. Oh, sorry, that's Joffrey. I get.
Yeah, is this Jeffrey or Joffrey? It looks
it's
like
definitely
Jeff.
Jeffrey.
It's Jeffrey.
Definitely Jeffrey. Jeffrey's dying right now.
Yeah, he's pissed. He's throwing a vase against the wall.
The last 10 years of Game of Thrones, the show, has just killed him as people keep making the same
Right.
joke.
Like, oh, you're like named after that guy. No.
Okay. By Geoffrey. The plains were made of burnt ash, and the air was full of warp flame. A lone figure wandered through the smoke, desperately searching, but for what he knew not. His name was Amos, an aspiring sorcerer of the Thousand Suns and a warrior in the Chaos War Band known as the Change Engine. Or he was when it existed. He was unsure who had won the battle, the Sons of Magnus and the Warriors of Tzeentch, or the wretched Xenos horde that lived on his charred planet. At the sight of so many nameless bodies, he wasn't sure if anyone had. His armor was blackened with soot, and he could barely see a hand in front of his faceplate. His weakened muscles struggled to pull him over the mounds of corpses, and he was forced to lean on his force staff for support. He created the top of a particularly large hillock of burnt limbs and crispy gore. He stood up to his full height and looked out over the hellscape. Nothing. He saw nothing. Nothing but the dead. He fell to his knees and cursed Tzeentch's name. You brought us here, and for what? You are not the blood god? Yet all I see is pointless slaughter. He almost took off his helmet in despair, for then the toxic atmosphere could seep into his lungs and burn away at him until there was nothing left but one more corpse on this god's forsaken rock. However, before he could commit his sorrow to his hands, a wind blew over the mountains of the dead. It swept into the valleys of bodies and pushed away ash clouds. That's when he saw them. 4 figures, each bearing the stylized helms of 1,000 sun. Hope filled his aching body and pulled him to his feet. He began lumbering down the slope, then running. Then he tripped and began tumbling. End over end, he rolled over the bodies, pale dead hands grabbing at his armor. He picked himself up and didn't even feel ashamed at his fall. He had found survivors. He ran to them, all exhaustion forgotten. Hey, he shouted. They turned to look at him, but did not respond. You're alive, he screamed at them as he cleared the distance. No response. Then he saw them up close, and his hope shattered in his heart. They were the Rubric Marines, soulless, willless, mindless soldiers of dust, trapped forever in their armor. They stood over the body of their sorcerer, impaled through the head by a large black spear. Amos recognized the aspirant. He was named Jonas. He wasn't a friend, but he was an interesting individual to discuss the maddening mysteries of the warp with. He would be missed. Okay. You, he said, pointing towards the Rubric Marines. Your master is dead, as are my servants. From today on, you are mine. He extended his willpower into each of them, and they all turned and stood at attention. His Rubricae. Now let us find more survivors. They began to wander, picking over the ruins, searching for a sign of life to no avail. One of the Rubricae, is it Rubricae or Rubricae? Rubricae, sorry. My mistake. One of the Rubricae had a voxcaster that Amos tried to use to contact the armada that had brought them to this wretched world. There was no response, and in his anger he vaporized the device. Why? He screamed out at the stars. Why did I survive just to die alone on this desolate wasteland? As if in answer, the heavens opened with brilliant light. Amos fell backwards in shock, while the Rubricae merely looked up unexpectedly, as if waiting for something. Plummeting out of the warp storm that had opened was an object of indeterminate size. Amos scrambled to his feet and began retreating quickly away from the meteorite. The Rubric Marines following him steadily, out of loyalty to their new master rather than fear. Is this how I am to die? Amos asked the gods as he backed away from what he assumed was about to be ground zero. Is this the end? The object approached the ground quickly, and Amos knew he had but moments before it impacted. With enough force to shatter his armor, his skeleton, and his life, even at this distance from the crash zone. 200 feet away. 100 feet. 50. 25, 12, 6. Suddenly, with a sound like a roaring inferno, the object arrested its momentum just feet above the ground. The object just hovered there, unnaturally. It was a shiny black octahedron with a large glowing blue M on its surface. The edges were ringed with hieroglyphs that glowed softly as Amos approached. What sorcerous machination is this? He stepped up to it and reached out with his gauntleted hand. As he touched it, a surge of energy courses through him, arched to the Rubikai. The black ash on their armor spread to cover everything. Lines of silver traced over the edges of their armor, and a glowing blue M materialized on the left pauldron. Amos reeled back as the power of the warp subsided. He looked back at the monolith, but it did nothing. Then a portal opened on its side. Amos could not see through the blinding light to what was on the other side, but he felt a sheer need to enter it. Damn the Emperor. Damn the gods. And damn Magnus. Then he stepped through. The 4 Rubikai followed after him, and the portal closed. The octahedron, its mission complete, ascended back into the warp storm and vanished. The planet sat there, empty of life, with no one to witness the great phenomenon. Centuries from now, an Imperium vessel might come to build a colony upon the bones of the fallen, or a Mechanicum ship might transform it into a forge world, or it might sit there in silence, dead, until it is destroyed by a dying star or the unpredictable tides of the warp. But before any of those possibilities come to pass, Amos the Lost will find his new purpose. A decade later, and 100 light years away, 5 figures materialized on the top of a shattering building. They wore dark armor with glowing symbols that flickered in the rain. They seemed to fade in and out of existence, almost as if they were stuck between the material and immaterial universes. In both places and neither. One of them gave an order, and the descended down to the street below. There was no time to watch the city burning below, for they had work to do.
I don't know what that M is supposed to be.
Yeah.
I don't either.
I don't.
Like, the first guess is Magnus,
Yeah, sure.
because they're
Yeah.
Thousand Suns.
Yeah.
But there's...
But he
it doesn't
said,
have
he
to
said
be.
like damn Magnus,
Yeah.
and then went into it,
Yeah.
which
And you-
doesn't make a lot of sense.
And like he describes the M as like blue,
blue, and Magnus's would be red.
red.
Yeah.
Because it's Magnus the Red.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm scared. I'm lost.
I honestly liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
It's like a cool narrative.
Yeah, obviously, like, it's his army. So I think, like, I only assume that he has like a unit of guys painted like this,
Yeah.
right? And so and they're like a special unit or for whatever, and he
Like a
brings
kill
into
team
his
or
list.
something.
Sure, yeah. It's kind of cool. I want to know what the octahedron is,
Yeah.
and where it came from, and what is Amos's new purpose.
Yeah.
And
So-
I'm okay with this story ending like this. I need another story. Like this, I think was
What's an octahedron? We don't know.
These are words.
Eight-sided
These are all just words.
Well, I
It's like
figured.
something
Yeah,
eight-sided.
that's right.
it's a D8.
That's what I was thinking. Because at first I thought it was like a die, and then but it's D6s.
Oh.
So it's like a die that was like falling and then didn't hit, and then he goes into it.
It's like
but,
some kind of ship. It sounds.
But I don't
like.
get the
Yeah.
8-sided.
I don't get the 8-sided either.
part of it.
I don't know. This would be kind of a cool kill team, and like even the author doesn't know what any of this is, and like this is how he justifies any game. Like these 5 guys should.
Yeah, like
show
he
up.
doesn't know why they're there.
No one
They're
knows.
just there to do their purpose.
Exactly. Send us, email us, and send us some more information on this. Like, do you have it more thought out?
You know when he's describing it coming at the ground? Mm-hmm. It's not fast enough. He's able to tell the difference between 12 feet and 6 feet away from the ground. So do you guys...
It's a very slow moving
It's extremely slow, so it's not nearly dangerous enough. So when the dinosaur thing happened...
The dinosaur thing.
The asteroid?
The dinosaur thing.
It was coming so fast that 1 second you're looking at the sky, there's nothing there. You would blink, you would open your eyes, and you're dead.
Did you hear this from a dinosaur?
Yes.
No,
First-hand account. It was so fast, and the greater impact was actually all the air that was compressed.
Yes,
But, it was.
I could see that,
and so that's what I'm thinking of. That's the speed I'm assuming.
But you
when
could
I'm seeing
see
this.
an asteroid still in space if it's close enough.
Absolutely.
Clearly,
but from 200
Yes,
to
yeah,
100
yeah.
to
It's
it
breaking.
doesn't give me
That's-
enough speed.
That's the problem. It was moving faster, but it had to slow down quite quickly.
No,
So
it says
that's why.
suddenly the object arrested its momentum. It wasn't slowing down. It happened
Well,
suddenly.
to his view,
Yeah.
from his narrative viewpoint. But clearly, there needed to be
I could
some
see that,
braking
yeah, yeah.
system.
Why?
happening
It's
there.
magic. There doesn't need to be any braking system.
I'm telling you, that's the reason.
Fine.
I liked the description. Good job. Nicely put together.
Amos felt human.
Yeah, almost like he trips and stumbled and he shakily gets
Yeah,
up
yeah.
and all that. It's like,
He's despondent. He's depressed.
I don't like the way any Space Marine's ever been written. I don't think anyone does a good job of writing them because you have to make.
Well, they're
them
just
feel
too boring.
human. Well, that's the problem. You have to make them feel human, so
Yeah.
they're not boring, but they should be boring super soldiers that are perfect.
Yeah, weakness makes for interesting characters.
Exactly, but
not necessarily Space Marines.
exactly. So,
Yeah. Nope. This is I enjoyed Amos though.
yeah.
Yeah. It was nice to feel for him to speak out his internalized feelings. Yeah. It was weird that he had friends. Janice. He would just talk with Janice about warp stuff.
Thousand Sons are like philosophers,
Yeah.
so
And
especially
scientists.
we have no idea when this was set. Like if
Yeah.
this was 30K, maybe even just after the Horus Heresy,
Well, yeah, because they still worship Tzeentch at this point.
yeah,
And they had the
still
rubric
got-
Marines.
but yeah.
I like that he, in his anger, destroyed the Voxcaster. I like to think that it was an accident. There's just so much displeasure at it. The warp just burned it. Right?
Very human emotion of rage there. Perfect.
Space Marines feel rage. Especially any of the Chaos ones. They're more willing to give into emotions
Sure.
and to, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
I enjoyed it.
You're a philosopher too, I see.
I do have what I call the Adeptus Plasticus.
What is that?
It's a gray army. Me and Christian. We both have Adeptus Plasticus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next one.
So this one's mine,
Sure.
right?
You didn't write it, but you're going to read it.
Right, I'm going to read it. Also, I wrote it. Just kidding. Liam wrote this one. This is a story about the world looters. And it includes Belagratius, the Ed Talker, the Mad Mech, the looter of Tim Eds, and all things, and his mount, Ed Ripper, the Titan and the Slow. Belagratius and Gore Smasher is the result of a rogue Mechanicus gene scientist, or whatever that would actually be called, Nicasius, who was on a small agro-world of Amulius III that had a small orc population and was in constant conflict with the local guard. Nicasius was testing on the orc fungi and trying to develop a bioengineered orc that he could use to control the orcs, and this results in only two possible usable specimens. One is a grot that seems like nothing special, which Nicasius quickly dismisses but keeps around as a sort of pet. And the other specimen is an abnormally large but subservient orc who's particularly dull with a comically small head.
Oh.
This orc Nicasius names Titan, and he believes he can control this great orc with cybernetic implantation and physiology manipulation, and with this, he would drive the orc to take control of the local orcs. During his tests and experimentation on Titan, Nicasius discovered that his pet crot, which he had named Minimech, made a decent lab assistant, although dull. Unbeknown to Nicasius, Minimech was not as dull as he let on. As a result of the genetic modifications on Minimech, he had become extremely intelligent. And this intelligence grew with secretly listening to Nicasius as he rambled to himself and secretly reading his writings. Yes, he can read and even write high and low Gothic. And as he was used to assist in making the Titan the tool of Nicasius, he would sow the seeds in Titan's mind that it was indeed Minimech to whom he would serve. That sneaky little grot. This went on for some many years of testing on Titan, which only resulted in Titan's mind becoming even less. As time passed, the guard of the planet started to lose ground, and eventually the Ork horde grew close to the lab. Nicasius was out of time. Titan was the last and lot hope he and possibly the planet had. He opened Titan's cage in hopes that all the experiments had worked. Behind stood Minimech, wearing Nicasius's red hood he had taken a liking to wearing, with grin of malice peering out. As the large cage door swings open, the great Titan just stands there, looking blankly. Nicasius makes a loud sigh as Minimech starts laughing. Nicasius turns around to look at him, and the second he turns his back, Titan lets out a great roar, despite his small head. The roar is still terrifying, and as he roars, he picks up Nicasius and rips his head off with ease. Minimech then climbs onto Titan's back, and Titan smashes the wall of the lab and charges into the Ork hordes. Titan effortlessly smashes his way through the horde straight to the war boss, where Titan then smashes both fists down onto the war boss, killing him instantly. Minimech then proclaims to the Green Tide, "I am Beligratius Damek, and this is Edripa the Titan, and yous work for me now." Both names he thought up on the spot. Oh, very imaginative. The Ork horde instantly recognizes him and his great mount as the leaders. After this, the planet quickly fell to the cunning of the new war boss. Beligratius then had the whole planet looted and made special care to loot the old lab himself. And he also took the severed head of Nicasius and managed to bring it back to life and fixed it onto a mechanical arm on his back where he could talk to the head. He then managed to construct a ship big enough to get his horde into orbit, and from there he plunged the whole ship onto the next planet in the system Amulius 4. This planet is covered in tall mountains and deep ravines and large exposed caverns. Deep within these caverns and ravines, there lay dormant Necrons. As every good planet has.
Every world's a tomb world.
That's right. On the surface of the planet, there's the start of a forge world being built. However, this has stopped as the Mechanicus discovered the now waking Necrons and decided they'd rather research that. It's true. The Necrons and the Mechanicus have been warring on this planet for some time and has been a stalemate due to the Necrons only just beginning to awaken. However, this stalemate is about to be broken. Beligratius' ramshackle ship smashed into the ground close to a Mechanicus research site. The Orks quickly overrun this site. Beligratius then lets his horde loose on the planet while he studies the research site. After a long while studying the site, and from the knowledge he learned from this, he created a device that is able to prevent Necrons from phasing when it's activated. He uses this technology as long as all the lot to create some powerful weapons and armor based on looted Necrons. He used this to kill and loot all the Mechanicus. I'm going to reread that sentence. I don't think it's going to help, but I'm going to reread it. All right. So
trying to find a period.
No, I'm not even going all the way back. I'm just starting with, he uses this new...
There's like 4 periods in this whole thing.
He uses this new technology as long as all the lot to create some powerful weapons and armor based on looted Necrons. He used to kill this and loot all the Mechanicus and then push back the Necron until they found the Overlord, which Edripa then ripped the Overlord's head, and Beligratius then attached the head onto a second mechanical arm from here. Beligratius looted the rest of the planet and had a great ship constructed in the construction site of the Forge World, the ship he named World Luda.
Got him.
We ain't done yet, folks. From here, Beligradius looted the rest of the system, and with the use of Beligradius's anti-Necron phase device that he mounted on the back of Edripa, and also made a larger one for his ship, he would defeat any and loot another tomb world found in the system. All right, now we're on the world Ludas. Oh, is he just describing his orcs at this point?
Must be.
Okay. Have a relatively standard orc command structure. However, the amount of mechs in this warband are much higher as well, as due to Beligratius' intelligence, he will modify certain spores that will specifically grow into his prime grots, who are slightly larger and stronger than regular grots, who are also quite intelligent. He will create 12 of the prime grots, who are his honor guard, and also mechs. These prime grots have cybernetic enhancements, such as additional mechanical arms, much like Mechanicus tentacles. In the world looters, grots are much higher regarded than normal orc society, and due to slight modifications in the orc fungi that this warband has, all the grots exhibit higher intelligence and cunning than orcs, however, not to the point of prime grots. As such, the grots are often in leadership positions and in positions that don't require much physical strength. Within this warband, almost all the mechs... Oh, lost my place. Are actually grots who often ride orcs, and this is the same... Grots who often ride orcs? I read that right. Mm-hmm. And this is the same with many other combat commanders are actually grots riding orcs. This warband has heavy use of mechanical limbs and body, and many different upgrades, and as such used much more technology and mechs over weird boys. However, they still have some. This warband has a heavy focus and obsession with looting things for themselves, even to the point where they try to disable enemy vehicles instead of destroying them, as well as even looting people, which is what they call enslaving them. And they do this with special explosive collars, or some sort of explosive attached to the slave. They also sometimes use implants and or other forms of brainwashing, similar to the way Edripa was brainwashed. These slaves are used in different roles, often things orcs and grots don't want to do, such as mining or scraping large things, and also as cannon fodder in combat. Much of the technology used by this warband is powered by Necron tech, and even sometimes living Necron that they've disabled and wired into machines. They also will sometimes use Necron weapons as a result of this. And all the warband looting obsessions, their vehicles and machines often look like strange amalgamations of all different technologies. However, it's not known whether these technologies working together as a result of a warg energy or actual science as a result of the Mechanicus often go out of their way to capture vehicles. However, this is a difficult endeavor, and the warband does not give them up easily. And that's the world Ludas. All right. So, okay. So it's a mainly grot force.
Yeah, it sounds like there's orcs too. But
there are some orcs, but all the grots are smarter.
Yeah.
And they ride the orcs into battle.
Yeah, sure.
And there's prime grots. 12
Whatever
of them.
that means, yeah.
Even bigger than grots.
Yeah, yeah.
So orcs.
No, but smart.
Right, okay. Sure. Okay, some of the stuff that I really like, I like that he brings it back. So Beligratius learned about how to manipulate people's minds from Nicasius while experimenting on Titan, right? I like that he brought that back to the slaves. That would be my primary method, is like they put like neuro implants in Titan's head, right? Yeah. So Beligratius could control him.
Yeah.
I would appreciate, like, I'd be okay if he just said all the slaves we get are neuro implants in their head until they're just like, we've lobotomized them and they just follow basic commands now, like go be cannon fodder, right?
Sure.
I like that. I like that he brought it back to that.
Yeah.
And it's just continued use.
Yeah, very creative. Lots going on, lots of different ideas.
It kind of felt like a little comic booky, which was kind of cool. However, like, my big gripe was like the pacing of the story. It was just like, I just felt like a million things happened.
You're welcome. That's just my reading.
No. It wasn't just the reading. It was like where the events happened, and like, it's like they just happened, and then, but also like obviously some writing stuff like grammar and punctuation and
Very-
stuff like that.
very thing.
Yeah.
It's read as written.
This is what happens to me when I'm writing. Is it starts out like pretty normal, and you're kind of, and then you go into like the fever of like, and this idea, and you start losing punctuation, and the grammar goes a little, and you switch from past tense to present tense, back to past tense, and you're just kind of on fire as you just got to get it all onto your phone.
Yeah, something I've noticed when I write is if I like look back, I like had a really good thought, and you write it down, and you feel like you're in the flow, and you look back, and you're like, that was 7 lines and 6 commas. And you're like, I should break that up. But yeah, like I like the Belgradius is just funny to me.
Yeah,
because he says like he's like, I made it up, but you did not make it up, right? You heard it somewhere or something. So it's kind of funny. I like that he reanimates Nicasius's head.
Yeah.
And puts it on his back.
It's like almost like a servo skull.
Right, exactly. It's like an homage to a servo skull, but it's like a real, like servo skulls don't talk, right? They're just, it's nothing other than a skull with a computer chip inside. Whereas it sounds like he reanimated Nicasius through some weird warp stuff.
Magic.
Right. Magic.
For all we know, though, he just like poked the brain, and then like it reflexed an arm, so it's like it's alive.
Yeah, and he's just constantly talking to it, but it's just rotting behind him.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. I don't care how intelligent he is. He's still a grot. He's not that intelligent, so it's possible.
How dare you?
It's just a grot.
There's another thing in here that suggests he is genetically modifying the fungi. I don't know, man. Why can't he be that smart? He's been experimented on.
Oh, sure. You could be decently smart, but you're still an orc. Like I don't know. You're still an orc. In my mind, I don't know. I'm not a geneticist. I don't know
how genetics work.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
So
I just know how asteroids work. And let me tell you guys, it wasn't coming fast enough. I like that he was genetically modified, and then he was genetically modifying orcs. I like the things that throw back and tie
the cycle.
The story together. Right. Yes.
Circle of yelling and
circle of yelling
is. It sounds like our band, Mark. Welcome to
the Circle of Yelling.
We're the Circle of Yelling, and we're gonna rock your mind. That's our band.
Gonna rock our ear holes.
That's right. I don't know if this is just because I'm a Necron player.
It's not.
I do not like the fact that you can stop a Necron from phasing.
Yeah, like that's just too scientific for once again.
Like Necron tech is more advanced than Eldar tech. Eldar do not understand Necron tech. Nicasius would not understand Necron tech.
Yeah.
So in order for you to manipulate it would require a cryptic, because even regular Necron do not know Necron tech.
Let's put a fun twist.
Part of me feels like this is a story that literally was written by an orc.
It's Belgradius writing his story. The reality is he's still a slave. And he's like, I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna put you on my back.
He wrote it in such a way it didn't really happen that way. He's just like embellishing,
Sure.
And then I did this, and I conquered this world.
That's way more enjoyable.
And I stopped the Necron from phasing and all this kind of stuff.
And then I put it on the ship.
Yeah.
It's on the big ship, the World Luda.
So really, this story never leaves that original lab, and it's just this grot talking to Titan this whole time about the great things
that he's done.
Yeah.
And Titan is just so brain dead, he just nods and drools a little bit.
Perfect. I like it.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean that something that's really nice about orcs is they can be jokey and goofy. And so you can write this story that is goofy and jokey, and it's actually still quite enjoyable. And we can make our excuses or whatever about it and say what we don't like. But it's orc, right? So they can be bloodthirsty savages. They can also be Belgradius, All right, we have one more that Peter
All right, this is from James. The massive mobile artificial Necron tomb world
known as the World Engine, was attacked by an Imperial task force comprised of 15 Space Marine chapters, plus elements from the Imperial Navy, and even the mightiest weapon could not harm it. The World Engine destroyed a third of an entire Imperial Navy battle fleet before the chapter master, Artur Amrad, of the Astral Knights, decided to ram the hideous vessel with his battle barge, the Tempestuous. A force of over 700 Astral Knights deployed from drop pods onto the Necron vessel's surface. For over 100 hours, the Astral Knights fought and destroyed every flux generator, weapon forge, and command node they came upon. Only after the chapter had been reduced in size did the chapter master, Artur Amrad, and the 5 battle brothers succeed in their quest. Amrad detonated meltabombs that destroyed a vast Necron tomb complex that housed many of the World Engine's command arrays. This brought down the vessel's impenetrable void shields and also silenced the machine's weaponry. This assault allowed the Imperial Navy's starships to destroy the World Engine with cyclonic torpedoes. After the battle, as the Adeptus Mechanicus picked over the remains of the destroyed World Engine, the Ultramarines retrieved the twisted wreckage of the Tempestuous and placed it amid the ruins of Safehold, the planet that had been the last victim of the World Engine. After the sacrifice of the Astral Knights led to the final destruction of the World Engine, Captain Donatos Aphael of the Second Company proposed that an imperial shrine be erected upon the world of Safehold in eternal memory of the Astral Knights chapter. The shrine consists of 772 Arbostone statues, one for every Astral Knight battle brother that died stopping the World Engine, which stands a silent vigil within the dead heart of the Tempestuous. However, there were some things that the Astaris did not know about the fate of the Astral Knights. Not all of the chapter's corpses were recovered from the wreck of the World Engine. During the initial battle, after the Tempestuous rammed into the World Engine, some 6 battle brothers suddenly disappeared whilst mid-attack, just out of nowhere. No one yet has seen these missing Astral Knights, or at least no one has seen them and lived to tell of their now corrupted form. Anyone who could possibly survive long enough would see that these Space Marines are no longer noble Astaris, but simple military slaves to the Necron army, thanks to scarab piercing their armor and wrapping around their brain tissue, controlling their thoughts and ordering them into submission for the Necron war effort. They are beyond assistance and will never truly be Astaris, but the honor of serving an empire still runs through them. However, now, instead of serving an emperor, they are simply serving the king.
So, look,
Like the first 80% of that
yeah,
is from a Lexicanum page.
yeah, that's important.
Yeah, you need the backstory.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole thing about the World Engine, like all the way up to like building the statues, like that's all real.
Yeah.
And that's like someone wrote that.
Yeah, and then where it takes off to what he wrote is
The
where
missing bodies.
The missing 6 people.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. Like mind shackle scarabs are like a real thing.
This is an extremely believable thing.
Yeah, sure. No, I like it.
Yeah.
I wish we learned more about mind shackle scarabs, because like I think I said it on a couple episodes ago. Like if I was a Necron player, I'd literally buy all the armies and put a little scarab on the back of their head, and they're all Necron now. Like, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What are you looking up?
Mind shackle scarabs?
What about them? Do you not believe me that they're real?
No, I know they're real.
Then why are you Googling them?
I wanted to confirm that they burrowed into your mind. They don't exist on the outside.
Oh, okay. So you're kind of meteors and the depth of
That's right.
Burrowing. That's what we're gonna
No.
fucking critique. My goodness.
Yeah,
Sweet Eric. Sweet, lovable Eric.
like the world engine in and of itself is an awesome story.
Cool.
It's like one of the cooler pieces of like Necron tech that you actually see in the 41st millennium.
Do you know if that Tomb World or World Engine or whatever came from a specific dynasty?
It did. I can find it.
And that
for you.
dynasty still exists.
That I'm not certain of. I wouldn't be surprised if they all died. So it was a Necron Lord of the Tomb World. Boris.
Okay.
Borsis. Sorry, not Boris.
Boris.
Borsis doesn't have any information.
I would assume it would still be around, and that's why those Mind Shackled Scarab Astartes can still be doing their thing.
Yeah, when you think like no Necron technically would die, they would all phase out.
I guess that's
so.
True.
If they have a way to make other things phase, they would literally just teleport them away.
Sure.
Right?
So their masters would
but
still
yeah,
be around.
kind
of cool.
I like the idea of Necron enslaving people. Like it's obviously what they would do.
Yeah. Once again, this just sounds like a cool little kill team.
Yeah, because there's only 6 of them.
Yeah, just a nice little kill team. And with kill team, you can definitely like be way more creative with the models. So like you can actually model them a little more like.
Yeah, and kill team lends itself to writing individual stories about your character, about each model, right? So
yeah, pretty cool.
I think it is like an interesting idea, but again, it's like this story is kind of, if it does feel like you said, a lot of it was lifted from the Lexicon,
which is
it does feel like I'm just getting information.
Yeah,
like it's just telling me events that happened, and then like at the very end, it kind of ends with a story, whereas like it would have been a lot better like narrative.
Well,
I would have loved to see. I would have loved to see these Space Marines coming like to a planet, and then someone recognizing them, like something on their armor, and be like, "It's the Astral Knights! Like they're alive."
That might have happened.
And then, that would have been a more enjoyable story to me. Is like the betrayal,
and they could have just like subtly, or you could have. Like, I felt like it would have been better if he more just subtly referenced like the events that happened, and then, but was making more of a story about the Ultramarines or whatever who were getting these necronified. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like they were killing guardsmen or something.
Yeah,
like you're taking it from the guardsman point of view.
And
then like the last moment, the guardsman
it would have been more
like
engaging.
A Necron scarab on the back of its head. It's like, that's why you killed me. Something like that. I could see that. For 40K, I know like different people relate information in different ways. Like I personally prefer information as opposed to stories. But
if it's like a lore story,
well, they don't have to be. That's the thing. Like they can be anything you guys want. Like. Because I know I when I write it, I definitely do the more stereotypical like Lexicon article format. Like that's how I get information.
Yeah, for sure.
How I understand
think it's taking your story that you have for your kill team or your army or whatever, and putting it down in your own terms. And who cares really what we think about it? At the end of the day, right?
Sure.
Just get it out there and write
something. Rat's butt what we think.
We're just paid professionals, you know.
Nope. We are neither paid nor professionals.
Wait, I'm not going to get paid for this?
Thanks, Mark. We wanted to have that discussion after the podcast.
Well. We're well overdue on payments. You've been on a bunch of episodes and not seen a penny.
Yeah. I love the idea of a betrayal. I think it's really cool. So I would like or if you want to, like, if you don't want to write story and you want to write like this, like I'd love to hear about like the Inquisition's investigation of why 6 Space Marines destroyed an entire PDF on a planet, right? And like while they were painted as Astral Knights, and we thought they were dead. And I'd like to read that.
Sure. Yeah, no, it could be very cool.
Maybe it's just because I knew the world engine, right? So like none of that was new.
Sure.
To me.
Sure.
To me, I like that you're taking something that is factual and then just putting like a tiny spin on it. Makes it that much more realistic.
Yes, it has a time frame now. Right. It has a location in the galaxy.
Yeah. And that is one thing that was good about that too. Like it is an existing thing, And he just put that little twist on. He didn't change the existing context or like anything like that, which oftentimes people will like write characters like, and then Reboot Gilliman did this, and stories like that. It's like, well,
Like,
And my characters are better than all those guys.
yeah, and it's just like, so it's nice that it's very like subtle.
It's like believable.
It's believable.
It changes nothing that is written in current lore.
Exactly.
It only adds to it.
Yeah.
Because the Imperial records are still going to state Astral Knights are destroyed.
Exactly.
Regardless of whether these 5 exist or not.
Exactly.
Right?
So and that is a fine line to know when you're writing stories, and especially if you're trying to tie in like already existing lore.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's a good point. That is well done.
sure, we did it.
Cool. Yeah, we did it. We
Okay.
did it, guys. High five.
Only like 100 more listener lawyers to get through. So keep sending them. Eventually, we'll get around to reading them.
Well,
Eventually, I'm
something about pay us money and we'll do it.
yeah. Open to bribes.
That's right. Send us feet pics.
Nah, no. Now we're gonna get those
Send
because it happened before.
40K player foot picks. That just that seems.
It was interesting.
unnecessary.
It was interesting. I mean,
hey, whatever your thing is.
yeah. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah.
Cool. See you later.
Bye bye.
Peace.